So I just want to reiterate a simple message that you've heard all day, that work is changing and worker protections, interventions, and safety nets will need to change as well. We've heard a lot about artificial intelligence, automation, climate change, and the growth of gig and non-traditional work, and how they're reshaping how people work and where people work and what risks they're going to face. Some jobs are going to grow, some jobs will disappear, some jobs will emerge. And the question is not whether work will change, but how California will have the infrastructure to support these changes. I just want to reiterate that California is one of the largest economies of the world, with an economy of about $4 trillion, 18 million jobs. That represents roughly 1 in 9 jobs in the United States. So we do have an obligation to lead this charge into the future of work and health. Protecting worker health is really critical to sustaining California's economy, but also to sustaining our communities. And I think we've heard a lot about that today with different conversations about the responsibility to our workers and balancing this innovation with dignity for our workers. Right now, California faces a serious challenge. We continue to see hundreds of thousands of preventable injuries and illnesses throughout the year. Workers' compensation costs exceed $20 billion. And at the same time, we see our occupational health workforce shrinking. We don't have enough occupational medicine physicians, nurses, industrial hygienists, ergonomists, epidemiologists, and safety professionals to support the workforce today, much less the workforce that is emerging. And we saw last year that federal funding is tenuous. We see that this uncertainty makes this discussion even more urgent. Every year, federal occupational health funding is at risk. Even when funding survives, which it did this past year, we cannot assume that it's going to be sustained each and every year. As I mentioned before, I'm the director of COEH at University of California, Berkeley, and COEH has a legacy of turning crises into knowledge and action. And the California Labor Lab, which is also associated with COEH, has been doing the same over this past 5 years. We have a history of addressing major issues like heat stress, injury and illness prevention programs, or big issues around service workers or food processing. And the California Labor Lab has also addressed some major challenges that California is facing, like silicosis among engineered stone and countertop manufacturers. We've been looking at the impact of shift work on workers. But California does have a strong foundation to build on. These COEHs and the related research centers have been doing an excellent job in the past of addressing these issues that you've heard about today, issues like AI and automation and the change in how work will be performed. Over the past year, a group of thought leaders in occupational health have been developing a solution called the California and Work and Health Program, named after the California Work and Health Survey from our California Labor Lab. Our goal is to build on the existing infrastructure at UCs, at the COEHs, and create a stronger, more sustainable statewide occupational health infrastructure. And this program has 4 different components. One is having clinical centers of excellence, where occupational medicine centers will have specialized care. We see increased workforce training for safety and health professionals, research and surveillance programs increasing, as well as workers' compensation reform, where we create pathways for high-value evidence-based research and care for our workers. And this matters now because our window to act is really narrowing. We see work changing, we see federal funding uncertainties, and we see stagnant funding from the state with rising costs. All of these mean that our California institutions that support worker health and safety need to be supported. We need to make sure that we carry on this expertise, these partnerships, to sustain the challenges, the infrastructure that we have and the challenges that we're going to face in the future. We believe that the benefits will be substantial, both for workers, for employers, and for the state of California, and more importantly, for our communities. We know that work is important to our communities, and we need to make sure that the work is healthy and that it's dignified as these different challenges change how work is done. So, given that we are one of the largest economies in the world, we need to depend on our workers. And if work is changing, we need to make sure that we're supporting them. And I think we heard a lot of programs today and initiatives on how California is planning on doing that. And I hope that we can, through the California Work and Health Program, provide more pipelines, more research, more medical care that also supports our workers. I just want to close by thanking Dr. Ed Yellen, Director of the California Labor Lab, for his extraordinary years of work and dedication to improving the lives, health, and safety of workers. Dr. Yellen has spent his career examining how work, health, disability, and social policy intersect. He's brought rigorous research to questions that directly affect workers' lives, economic security, and their access to care. And if you didn't know, Dr. Yellen will be retiring at the end of May. It's been truly an honor and privilege for those of us who have been able to work with him at the California Lab to be able to collaborate with him, to learn from him. We appreciate your mentorship and leadership and your unwavering commitment to workers, and we will do our best to carry on without your leadership. Thank you for the honor. It wasn't. I surprised you a little bit. I want to thank you all for coming today. Those of you who are in person, those of you online, it's been a really wonderful morning of just great discussion. And thank you for the California Labor Lab team to put this on. These discussions are just critical as we forge forward. Thank you.